Okay, welcome back to Black Dragon Modern Combat. Sifu David Akrish here, and we're with another unedited, raw, and powerful, exciting installment of the 20 key principles of the Mook Jong. And this is number 14, which is something I've been looking forward to for a long time, which is directional intent. So I have never seen anyone really talk about this. Again, I go back to, oh, by the way, welcome new subscribers and newer subscribers. I thank you all. I'm glad you're here. I'm here to offer really everything and anything that I've accomplished and accumulated over many, many decades of close quarter combat training in many, many different styles. The other videos talk about it a lot, so you can go there. You can always contact me, and I'd love to talk with you, or you can send me an email or a comment, whatever, the whole thing, call. I'm open to that too. The phone number's on my website. So I wrote down on my handy dandy whiteboard down here. I believe in whiteboards and being able to use them and to look at different ideas and geometry and such. And so in the last video, actually, which is done very well, I believe, which was long distance or long arm training, waist power, super cool. I love that. I've been doing it for so long as a basis of more Chinese, especially the Charlie fight system and different animal systems. So that's super cool. It's a big, big, big part of everything I do. And of my training and just my thoughts and just an application. And if you haven't seen that, or you're new, please go back and look at all of them, because everything I do is, am I doing every single one of them in each training, my training time? No, but maybe, and maybe I'm doing some sometimes, or deleting others sometimes. That doesn't sound right, but sometimes it can't be. It's sort of all of them, but maybe sometimes it's not. This one today, all the time. For instance, like the long arm one. Maybe I'm never working on, or some days I'm not working on the long arm, or working on the forearm training, or different things. Because you can't work on everything. You want to focus on something else, a certain animal, a certain idea. But most of the ingredients happen. I'm going to take all that back, because even if you're doing one thing, if you're working on or understanding the ideas of other, for instance, shorter power, longer power, even if you're working on short power, that long power is a part of it. You can't take it out. You can't remove it. They'll say you can take the girl out of the country, but you can't take the country out of the girl. Well, it's the same thing here. You can work on shorter power, but it's still part of your long power, part of everything that you do. So maybe everything is accumulated in what I do after all these years, and that's why I'm showing you these different principles to add them in to your recipe of what you do, and take what you can, take what you want, take what you think you need, and see where that brings you. And so this one today is called Directional Intent. Oh, by the way, if you haven't seen, I've really modified this Mook Jong and made it where one of the things you can't see because I'm not going to do the backside, but to be able to strike from the backside. And I'm all about, again, if you're new here, the other day I said, you say you're outside the box. I have no box, and so I keep innovating and creating, or I'm not trying to create it. It just comes to mind, and I apply it. And one of the ideas to me is like, I'm hitting the backside of the Mook Jong. Well, I want to put some pad there. And then another one is that I want to have a wall bag training incorporated. I do so much Mook Jong training. I'm like, well, I'm going to put wall bags, which these are very cool, onto. So I kind of kill two birds with one stone, onto my new Mook Jong. And so I have the backside, and then I have the wall bags connected with a couple bungee cords, and it's working out pretty darn well. So, and there's rice inside of these. These are brand new. They're elongated, which was hard to find. I did find them on Amazon, so maybe I'll put a link on there if you're interested in that. But it brings it to a new level. So So today is directional intent. So if you go all the way back again to one of my two favorite, whatever you want to call it, influential Sifus. One of them, and the other one maybe talked about a little bit, but not that much, but one of them did. And he's one of the only people I've ever really heard, ever to bring it to mind, the whole concept of not just striking or doing something, but going further, a step further into what you're doing. And maybe you could say this is more advanced, maybe. This whole channel is for both beginner and ultra hardened warriors. It doesn't matter, because if there's something you're not doing and it adds to your pile of rocks, then cool. If you're just starting your little pile of rocks and building your mountain, then I'm here for you too. It's just, they apply to both people and everyone in between. So at least that's how I am trying to project what I'm doing here. And so this idea is it's kind of internal, because in a lot of ways you won't see it. So I'm going to demonstrate, and then I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. So now I'm going to do 4, and this is just a palm. Okay, so I'm not going to say it comes from any system. Just hitting this with a palm. So slap, just slapping. So we'll just call it a slap. So here's the first one. Here's the second one. Here's the third one, and here is the fourth one. Now, were those all the same, or were they different? They were all different. The very first one was lateral, so perpendicular, and staying on the same level. So it wasn't moving up or down, at the same level. Okay, so was it my mind doing it? Was my body doing it? Was my hand going that way? Yes, yes, and yes. It's all the above. Its intent is inside of you, it's inside your tent. And direction is the direction that you're going for. And so in the first one, I was going straight across. Even though in the second one, I was actually going forward. In the third one, I was going 45 degrees and down. And in the fourth one, I was actually staying level, but pulling towards me. So 4 different directions. Directional intent. So it's what is the intent? Intent is a big part of law. So what were you thinking when you did that? You drove the car into the wall, or whatever it is, something dumb, or you didn't mean to do it, or when you pulled a weapon out in a crowd, or against somebody, and what was your, maybe a lawyer might say, the other lawyer, or someone you go to court, or, says, what was your intent? Was your intent to hurt the person? Was it to kill him? Was it to scare him? These are answers that you might want to think about, and maybe know where it's coming from. Same thing here. So let's take it the opposite of that. Just willy-nilly, I'm coming, I'm hitting, I'm knocking, I'm pushing, I'm just doing my thing. And am I really thinking about where the direction of my energy, chi, physics, metaphysics, electronics, electromagnetic force, physical force, kinetic energy, velocity? I'm just saying it all, so I'm trying to cover everything so nobody feels left out. Which way am I trying to move something? And so here I'm giving you 4 different ideas. So you're not just doing something, and I'm saying you are or you're not. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. That's not what this is about. It's not judgment or pointing fingers. It's about making sure that we are thinking, which way are we doing whatever we're doing? And so that was the first one with the palm. So I do these 4, and then of course you can deviate, because there's infinite slighter directions on, let's say, going forward but down. Okay, so 45 degrees or 30 degrees or whatever it is. That's that one. So I'm aiming down behind. So this is very important, and it's part of my school. It's part of what I've been doing for a very long time, and I find it to be, I already said this, extremely important. So this to me is building skill. So it isn't just the ability of timing and distance and angles. It's like the fourth dimension. Those are the three important ones. I just gave you a really huge clue on thinking about timing, distance, and angle. That's almost everything in every system. But now I'm saying there's more than that. There's one, maybe, and there's more than that, but there's this idea of today of directional intent. So that's my term. I'm coining it. I trademarked it. I registered it. I'm sending it. No, I'm kidding. So, so those are the four. I don't want to call them basic, but four foundational, the four corners. And I talk about the four pillars. Let's say these are the four corners of directional intent. Another way, and you could do this with anything you do, from kicks, whatever. You're hitting with the head. It doesn't matter. But another one is maybe we're just going to do a side. We'll say, how about a rotational strike? So with the forearm, with the knife side. So there's one, there's two, there's three, and there's four. They may all look the same, but from my mind, through my body, out to the physical striking, all four of those were exactly the same thing I did before. One was lateral, one was moving forward, one was downward, and one was towards me. So actually trying to catch, hook, whatever, sticky, whatever you want to call it, towards me. And so, and this happens with everything. Everything you do should be thought that way. If I do a slap, am I just slapping this across, or am I slapping this with the energy flowing out forward? It's a big difference. That one was, the first was lateral, the other one was forward. That's downwards. And that one was towards me. Now, I have a question. And I would say this is, I'm going to ask some different questions. And the people who answer these questions will go in the drawing, because I'm maybe ask 10 different questions. And there's no right answer, but just that you answer it means that you've watched this, you've made it to this point for the drawing of the punching bag, stand-up punching bag, which I'm going to be doing some videos on. So I just want to know, and some people, why are you trying to hit towards yourself? Well, you tell me. I'm not going to tell you. These aren't lessons on application, which I am going to do some. In a way, I'm going to not even really say when you do something. I'm just going to show you the applying of it to a live person. So my wife's going to help me, and she promised me she would do this. So I'm just trying to get through all these different key principles, but she's going to help me with that. So go, oh, so that's that. Whether it's beginner or not, it doesn't matter. It's just for everybody. I haven't ranted on something in a while, but I'm going to, and I don't know if I did in the past. But I saw somebody giving lessons that were so. I always say that there's a lot that people are putting out that will get you killed. Okay, I don't pull punches, figuratively, literally, whatever. I just don't. And you should not. It's sort of criminal in my mind, at least on a moral level, to offer something when it's apparent you don't put any training in. Buying a bunch of stuff doesn't make you a warrior master. I don't care how much you accumulate, it still doesn't. If you don't even have the base ideas of what you're doing, and then you're giving lessons on a life and death situation, I don't know. Be careful. All I'm saying is be careful when you watch somebody. I don't even want to go that far. I just want to say these are again principles or concepts of close quarter combat. If you're in my class, I'm going to go further, of course, and take on the responsibility. You're paying for something, and I'm offering to a certain level. So that's another world. But just to not even put in your time and then to do something that's detrimental. I don't know. I don't know what to say on that. So be discerning. How's that? One place that this really is applied is in weapon. So I've done almost everything open hand. I think I did one thing with a little bit of knives. But what's funny about what I do is all I do is weapons. But I'm not showing them. Maybe that's going to be down the line. Not maybe, but I am going to introduce weapons. And there's a brand I love, which is Cold Steel. Some of the stuff is well is heavy enough where it feels realistic. Some of the weapons are a little too light, and that's okay. So you can make changes with that. So that's another thing. But weapons is really where this could apply also, and where the importance. I'm giving you kind of a clue on why do the different directions, and counter weapon striking could be life and death. Okay, so I'm not telling you how to do it or showing you. I'm just saying this is an application of that idea, and it falls under that premise of things that it could be that moment. And my philosophy is the higher you are in skill, the higher or lower the percentage, however you want to look at it, you're going to have in coming out of something that is horrible. And the worst, I always say, the worst moment of your life, because it would be a life and death situation. And how often does it happen? Maybe never, maybe a few times I don't know. And that isn't the only reason to train, because training is really healthy and really powerful and very good for your mind and your body and all those things. And a lot of people who do this already know that. So I'm preaching to the choir in that sense. But how you train is how you're going to react. Your mental intent on what you're even doing is important also. And but the higher, I tell people in classes that I do or seminars that if you had a chance to be at least 10% better than you are right now, or not better, 10% of a chance of getting out once you take it, of getting out of something, life and death, or would you say, nah, let's just stay at 0, maybe 20%. So that's my philosophy. You are never going to predict. You don't know. There's so many factors of life that just predicting is absolutely the dumbest thing in the world. But training, I think, is the most brilliant thing in the world. You train because you can't predict. How's that? That's my philosophy, and of course other reasons. But so this directional intent is, you could say, is a spin-off of other things I'm going to talk about, which is actually number 20. I know what that one is, and I'm alluding to it. But on this one, on the fourth one, which is drawing towards you, I want to know. This is a two-way street. I want to know why you would train that way. What use is it? Is it worthless? Is it great? What would be a situation that you would do that? I forgot. So again, this is raw and unedited. And so an idea here to apply a second move is if I strike forward and then I also strike forward with the second strike. And so you're suddenly, when you're adding a second strike or a second move or whatever technique, waza, whatever it is, when you're adding that into the program, suddenly you're becoming multidimensional. So maybe I'm drawing something. No, it's not going to give away the answer. One of the answers is just if I'm going sideways and straight in, or I'm knocking down, going up, or I'm knocking down, knocking the other one down. That was what I was thinking about today. Real simple is knocking down and then these both up and knocking both of them down. So I'm doing like a double duty. That's an idea. So I'm following both directions, which I was kind of doing in some of the other videos. But what if I'm knocking down and going up? So I'm pushing something downwards as I'm going up instead of just slapping it or knocking or not thinking where it's going. So this falls under, that's thought. This falls under the big controversy of trapping. And so I'm not going to call this trapping, but let's say this is the pre-trapping prelude to trapping. And I have a whole thing about what trapping is. Trapping to somebody's trapping is this. It's like, well, what do you do when you go hunting? You go trapping. So trapping is a good thing. I believe it is part of what you can do and what close quarter combat is and what skill is about. And so, but not to get too deep into that, this is a idea of where you're sending something in orbit. It's like a ping pong, or it's like, what's the other one? The pull, I can't even think of it. anyways, pinball wizard, is where things are going. And if you become more and more, let's say you're not good at it, but you suddenly go, I can always, wow, I listen to Sifu Akrish. I didn't tell anybody I'm watching it. And in my school, I'm knocking something a certain way, and like, whoa, my arm went goofy, it went off. You know, your friend or whoever you're training with, your training partner, who should be your friend because they're there to help you. Suddenly you're doing new stuff, new ideas, innovative, and you're knocking them different ways. You're opening up different areas to get to. And the thing about it, it's not a magic thing. It's a practice thing. But to practice, first you have to even have an idea of what you want to practice, what to do, what could be something new. So this is maybe something new, and you can apply. So, and then you go, well, maybe I could trap. Maybe I trap the arm. Trapping doesn't mean against the body all the time. Maybe, like I said, it's trapping away from the body. So I'm trapping your arm against the wall. Words become too rigid, and of course rigidity is not good. We want to be non-rigid, flowing, relaxing with our mind, with our body, with our intent, with our energy, and be unburdened, and unhindered. And so maybe knocking something. So maybe trapping means you trapping a hand against the wall, but you're opening an area that's very a vital zone with the nerves or whatever. And so maybe you never thought about that. So, and you go, well, this sounds like a great idea. Well, let me practice that. Let me start moving things where I want them to move. And my wife said, when I started teaching her, and I said in one of the videos, we actually had where the forearm pads, it's a big part of the school, is forearm pads. On these old white ones, I actually put these 3 X's. And so not just, and then because we did so much knife and trapping and, I said it, trapping, whatever, knife, attacking, counter-striking. And so not just hitting the forearm, but actually a specific spot. And the reason I did that is like if you can do it under a calm situation, maybe there's a possibility 30%, 50, 80%, maybe you're really good at it, that you're able to kind of at will do something. And it all depends on you, depends on the situation, depends on the other person or people. You don't know. But a lot of people are untrained, and you might be pretty skilled, and you can say, oh, man, that kind of worked. Or someone's scary, and not everybody's unskilled. You don't know who you're going against, ever, or what's happening, and your level of fear and fright and anxiety, or you've been drinking maybe, or you don't feel good. There's so many variables. You don't know the ground, caught off guard, tired. Who knows? You're always angry. I don't know. It doesn't. That's all the variables, which can go on forever and ever. But I'm still saying training a specific way to be specifically skilled can up your game, can level you up a little bit. And so, or maybe more than a little bit. Maybe you're very skilled already, and you go, well, this is even going to make me more skilled. Cool. Let me know. Let me know if I've been helpful. Please. So I use the magic word. Anyways, I've almost hit the 30-minute mark. My videos, they're not just the reason they're different and they're long, because they're not a lesson where you can get a lesson done in 6 minutes or whatever. This isn't a lesson, and so many videos are lessons. This is more my philosophy, my principles, what's inside my head, and it takes time. It takes time to develop ideas. It takes time to train in ideas, and it's not an easy thing. And so these videos are they're not everybody else's, and that's fine. I don't want to be. Well, the thing is, it isn't that I don't want to be everybody else's video. I'm just not. I'm just me, and I'm doing what I want to do, and this is my freedom to do it. So I don't follow the guidelines of what anybody's telling me on any level. Oh, this should just be 7.5 minutes. Back a long time ago, they used to tell people exactly how long when you would write a song. It would be like 2.5 minutes. And so, because that's all, it's like, whatever. So, this ain't a song, and this is my song. So my song goes as long as it's going to go. Anyways, that is tonight, number 14. So getting really close. And I think I'm going to do 2 different videos in between before I go to number 15. So one of them is going to be on tiger style. So I've been working on some techniques on tiger that I want to show. And then I'm going to also do another story, because I have a lot of stories. So anyways, that's it. Have a nice evening. And again, thank you for the new subscribers, the very new subscriber who just signed up. And I appreciate everybody. I don't take anything for granted. And no matter how high the number goes, and the same thing with my business. I don't care if somebody spends $5 in my business or $500 or $5,000. Everybody's equally important to me. And that's how I live my life. And I really have no regrets. So, by the way, I have family over, and I talked about like calling family or if something's going on. I hope somebody's done that. If you're on the fence about it, that I encourage. And we're not always going to get along, whatever. But family's family, and it even though the whole world's a family, yes, but your own family is your own family, and they understand you, you understand them, and the love is there. And sometimes, and maybe you need to, you or somebody, you need to open the gates. You need to make the opening so you can not punch, but offer love in the palm of your hand. So that's my last kind of talk about that. But it's pretty potent. I've lost a lot of my family and just a lot of family health problems, and so you really start appreciating the people that are alive and that they're physically there with you and for you. So that's it on my little philosophical, emotional moment. Anyways, I'm going to get back to my training. It's night training again. I love night training, and I will put this on YouTube, and I want to hear from you. I want you to tell me why you would draw an attack or a strike or whatever you want to call it towards you, and anything else you want to get a hold of me with. All right, take care of yourself, and I will be back really soon.